This was a small presentation about the 7 layers of OSI model. OSI refers to the Open System Interconnection Model. When a sender wants to communicate with the receiver, the data will be communicated based on these 7 layers from the bottom-up approach, such as physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, and application layer. So in the physical layer determines the physical structure of the network. For example, whether it is a wired or wireless network. Data link layer. Here in the physical layer, the data will be transmitted in the form of bits. The same data, when it is handed over to the data link layer, the data will be in the form of frames. The frames will represent a data structure with a header information and a trailer information and the source address and the destination address. So that is the data link layer, and the third layer refers to the network layer. Here the data will be in the form of packets. So the packet will have a specific structure with the header and trailer informations, and the transport layer is responsible for the end-to-end communication, that is between the source and the destination. The session layer will be responsible for the synchronization of the data to the receiver with the port address. It will determine the port address of the network between the source and the destination. The presentation layer will handle all the syntax and the sessions, and the application layer at the end will transmit the data perfectly to the receiver. End user layer is the application layer, and the physical layer, the medium of transmission will be signals in the form of wired or wireless. The data link layer will transmit the data to the host address, and the network layer will route the data between the different local area networks and wide area networks. The transport layer's main responsibility is to ensure the delivery of the entire file or message or data to the receiver. The session layer will have a start and stop session, maintaining a perfect order, maintaining a perfect synchronization of the data between the source and the destination. The presentation layer's main responsibility is encryption and the data representation, and the application layer will have the network process applications. Each layer will have a specific protocol. For example, when we discuss about the physical layer, it may represent either wired or wireless communications. So for wired, it may have a coaxial cable or a fiber optic cable. The data link layer's protocol is Ethernet, SLIP, PPP, FDDA, any protocol. Network layer protocols are IP. The main protocol of network layer is IP. Transport layer will have the TCP, UDP protocols as a main protocol. Session layer will have the socket addressing, and the presentation layer will have the FTP informations. So it will handle the SSL, FTP protocols, that is file transfer protocols, and the application layer main protocol is HTTP, hypertext transfer protocol, and domain name services. So these were all the different protocols used in the different layers. A sender and receiver will maintain the standards of these 7 layers, and the data will be transmitted between the sender and receiver. Between each layers there will be an interface. For example, a sender physical layer will communicate with the receiver's physical layer. The sender's data from the physical layer will be wrapped and handed over to the data link layer. From the data link layer, it will be transmitted to the network layer. In the meantime, in the receiver side, the data will be handed over from application layer to presentation, and from presentation to session, and from session to transport, and so on. So there will be an interface between the different layers. This was just a basic view about the OSI model. Thank you.